Hi guys, welcome. I'm Jana. We are back with the eyeshadow primer showdown. Today we are going in with Elizabeth Mott Thank Me Later eyeshadow primer. I would see this so much on Amazon. Every time I would go back in and repurchase my Milani eyeshadow primer, which I would mix in with concealer, this would pop up. I was always a bit suspicious because I just, if it's not a brand that you're really familiar with, I could be a bit skeptical. But I picked this up when I picked up the ABH eyeshadow primer. If you'd like to see that showdown, I will link that video below. And then in that video, so many of you told me that this is the primer that you use. So that made me even more excited to try it out. And I also have a playlist that I'm starting, which will have all of the eyeshadow primer showdowns in it. And another thing I want to check out in this video is Bekah Jo sent me a video from Miss Megan Robinson where she actually talked about Urban Decay. I believe it was the anti-aging primer. I'm not exactly sure on that, but it was the Urban Decay primer. And Ms. Megan Robinson was saying that she has to use so much more shadow when she uses this type of primer. So we're also going to be checking that out today because I'm just curious, like, am I using more shadow with this primer? So today I'll be doing Urban Decay on one side, the Thank Me Later primer on the other side, and then I will also be testing this primer out by itself throughout the week. I'll be doing check-ins. I'll be checking in with this eye look at the end of the day, and then all of the time I use it throughout the week, I will do check-ins and we will see how it looks. At the very end of the video, I will check in and give you my final thoughts on how I'm liking the primer. And today I'm going to be using the Truffle collection from Dose of Colors. Haven't used this in a while, so I just wanted to wipe the dust off and use some Dose of Colors today. So, I mean, isn't this, it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful palette. At the end of the video, I will also show you guys some other palettes where I feel like you can get a similar look using different palettes. So I think I've covered everything, guys. Let's get started and see how this wears. So today I'm going to go in with the Urban Decay Anti-Aging on this side and the Thank Me Later eyeshadow primer on this side. I do want to mention I went in, my concealer is still a little bit damp. I went over it with that bronzer from RMS, and it just, you can just kind of see right here, it's just looking a bit muddy today, which is a bit disappointing, but hopefully once I get some blush on, it'll be okay. All right, and this is, just squeezes out. See if I can just get a little bit out. This is one eye. Oh, this feels really nice. Not too much of a base on it, so it does kind of remind me of the Urban Decay Anti-Aging a little bit, but it doesn't feel as drying. All right, and I am going in with the Cindy Grace E13, and we're going to go into, I believe this one is Elude. And again, I am kind of just paying attention to how much product I am putting on the Urban Decay side. Man, I use these Dose of Colors and I forget how good they are, how pigmented. I really wish Dose of Colors would make their shadows magnetic. Come on, Dose of Colors, it's 2025. Look how easily that blended out. All right, just want to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to pack it on. Wow, that's some good pigmentation already. I swear if Dose of Colors would make their palettes magnetic, I would probably go back and repurchase all of them, at least all the ones that I have. I have the Cindy Grace E05, and I'm going to go in to, I think this one's Tarte. It has like the names on the back, but then it's like upside down, and once I get that far, I'm confused. Right now I have a Dose of Colors brush, and I'm going to go into Cashmere. I will say when I am using these shadows, though, I do make sure I tap off quite a bit because these are shadows that have fallout. They're just so good. I'm going to go into a smudger brush and I'm going to go into Wild Truffle. I do have some fallout right here, but I'll fix that in a little bit. I don't want to mess with anything right now. Going in with the Rougher 28 into Tarte. And the Rougher 02 back into Allude. All right, I do want to go in with some glitter glue for the shimmers because that is the one thing with Dose of Colors. Their shimmers do have a lot of fallout. Even with the glitter glue, I'm probably going to have some on my face. But wait till you see them if you haven't. They are so pretty, so sparkly. All right, and I'm going to go in to Dazzle. I'm going to use my finger first, and then I'm going to get a brush and spray it. But I mean, my goodness, look at that, even without it being sprayed. So pretty. That is so pretty. All right, now I'm going to go in with the Truffle Blush. Trying to decide if it's making that worse, which it kind of looks like it is. Oh boy, I'm starting to have a love-hate relationship with that bronzer. All right, guys, I'm going to go do some blending, finish this look up, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, it's the final look. I love how this turned out. Let me tell you what I finished off with, and then we're going to discuss eye primer. And I also want to share some other palettes I have in my collection. I feel like you could get a similar look like this with. For the outer corner, I went in with Plum Persona. For the rest of the lower lash line, I went in with Baby Pink from Moya Cosmetics. Lip liner, I went in with Cool BFF from ColourPop. And blended it out with BFF from ColourPop. And of course, I went in with Truffle from Dose of Colors. And then topped it with Twilight Whispers from Unearthly. All right, for the eyeshadow primers, at this moment, I feel like they look exactly the same. I might like this one a little bit more. Yeah, I feel like the pigment is showing up better on this eye than the Urban Decay. And then on the Urban Decay, I don't feel like I went in with more shadow than I did with the other primer, but I am liking this side a little bit more at the moment. But I am going to share some other palettes with you, and then we're going to do a check-in tonight, and well, that'll really be the test. We'll see how it's looking. All right, some other palettes I have in my collection where I feel like you can get a similar look. I have actually quite a few from Sydney Grace. The first one is the Southern Spring palette. I think you just like these two, the browns, and that shimmer. I think similar look, real easy. Next one is Northern Winter. This one actually has quite a few more berries in it. This one's actually a shimmer, and then we have the nice deep brown in there, and then a nice light shade. This is Summer Days. It's discontinued. If you have it in your collection, I think you could easily get a similar look to this one. And the last Sydney Grace one I have is the XO Be Mine palette, and this one has a ton of options in it. Super easy to get a similar look with this. From Ensley Rain, the Groovy Garden. Has like these beautiful blush shades, and then I thought there was a deep burgundy in here. Oh yeah, it just doesn't look like it. These are actually, this is like a really deep burgundy, and this one is like a burnt burgundy, I would say, but they're both very beautiful. And the last one I have is from Melt, and it's the Gemini 2. And I think you'd probably just have to reach into another palette for a shimmer, but these would just so easily give you the same look. All right, guys, I'll be back at the end of the day, and we will see how this looks. All right, guys, it's the end of the day, and this is how it's looking. I honestly feel I was just looking at it up close, and they both pretty much look exactly the same. The only thing I will say, again, this was the Urban Decay side. This was the Thank Me Later side. It's late. This side feels dry. This is comfortable, but this does feel, it feels like very dry up in here. So far I'm going to have to give it to the Thank Me Later primer, but definitely going to test this out more and see how I feel about it at the end of the week. All right, guys, I'm going to also be testing this throughout the week. So I'm going to be popping in some more check-ins right now. All right, guys, that's it. Let me know your thoughts on the primer. And I do have some more suggestions that I will be trying out in the future. I have a list. My list is growing. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful. And I want to thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me. And I hope to see you in the next video. So like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.